Hey, it's Hermson. The next thing we're going to talk about is absolute value, okay? Now, here's what this means. You got a 5, and then you got these brackets. You can't really see it very well, but you got 5, and then you have like these brackets outside. Okay, what this is essentially asking is the absolute value of 5. What's it equal to? Now, absolute value, what it means, it's the distance that number is from 0 on a number line. It's the number of units that number, in this case 5, is from 0 on a number line. So let's look at an actual number line. If I got to go from 5 to 0, how many units do I count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the absolute value of 5 is 5. Not hard to understand there. Now what's the absolute value of negative 5? Well, now I count from negative 5 to 0. 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units, 4 units, 5 units. So that's also equal to 5. And the absolute value is never going to be equal to a negative, even if there's a negative inside. Okay, so what's the absolute value of positive 3? Well, I'd count from 3 to 0. So 1, 2, 3. The absolute value of negative 3. Negative 3 is 0. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now let's throw the number line and let's start doing this in our head. To get from 2 to 0, I'd have to go 2 units. To get from negative 2 to 0, I'd also go 2 units. Okay, now here's some sample problems of things you're going to be doing on this assignment. We have an absolute value, but what I need to do first is simplify the absolute value so there's only one single value inside. Right now it says 5 minus 10. Okay, so I'm going to take 5 minus 10, it's equal to negative 5, okay? So, put your absolute value, just drop it down and put negative 5 inside there. Now that you have only one number, one value inside the absolute value brackets, you now know your answer. So what's the absolute value of negative 5? What's the distance from negative 5 to 0? It'd be 5 units. Putting negative 5 as your answer is incorrect, okay? An absolute value of a number is never negative. It's like measuring distance. When you measure like miles from here to Aurelia or here to Storm Lake, you don't count by negatives. Okay, it's kind of like a radius. Okay, the absolute value of 8 minus 6. Okay, well, 8 minus 6 is 2. So what's the absolute value of 2? It's 2. Okay, the absolute value of negative 3 plus 5 plus the absolute value of 4 minus 6. So this time we have two absolute values. We need to get them both so there's only one single value inside. So negative 3 plus 5 is 2. 4 minus 6 is negative 2. Okay, so you got a plus. What's the absolute value of 2 equal to? It's 2. What's the absolute value of negative 2 equal to? It's 2. What's 2 plus 2? It's 4. Okay, next. This time we got to get this, now it's subtraction. Get this down so there's only one single number in these brackets. 7 minus 2 is 5. Negative 6 plus 3 is negative 3. Now a lot of people are like, so do I do plus, plus? No, you don't. Okay? No. Now you figure out these absolute values. The absolute value of 5 is 5 minus, and what's the absolute value of negative 3? How many units from is negative 3 from to 0 on a number line? It's 3. So 5 minus 3 equals 2. Okay, next. 3 minus 5. 3 minus 5 is negative 2. Negative 3 plus 6, that's 3. What's the absolute value of negative 2? 2. What's the absolute value of 3? 3. 2 plus 3 equals 5. Okay, we need to get these brackets so there's only one number inside. So 6 minus 4 is 10 is negative 4. And 3 minus 7 is negative 4. So what's the absolute value of negative 4? 4. Then minus, what's the absolute value of negative 4? It's 4. 4 minus 4 equals 0. Okay, now pause the video. You're going to come back and watch some more, but pause the video and go do 1, 2, 3, 4. And when you're done with that, unpause it and we'll do the rest. Okay, now you're solving equations for x, but the thing is, x is inside of an absolute value. Okay, so what I would recommend doing with absolute value equations is kind of make this chart, put 2 equal signs. So in this problem, I know my absolute value is equal to 5. Now, where are the 2 places on this line I could be 5 units from 0? There are actually 2 different ones. 2 places on this line that I can be 5, because it's equal to 5 units from 0. Well, I could be at 5, that's 5 units from 0. But I could also be at negative 5, that's also 5 units from 0. So I set these both equal to 5 and negative 5. Now, what is inside your absolute value brackets? Just x. So just put x, and the problem's pretty much solved right there. That one's easy. Now, the next ones are a little bit more to it. Okay, our absolute value, I just cover up what's inside there. The absolute value is equal to 3, okay? But there are 2 places on the number line you can be 3 units from 0, and that would be 3 and negative 3. Now, put the expression in the absolute value on the other side of your equation, in this case, x minus 6. Okay, so I put a 1 in front of the x, box it. All I need to do is plus 6, 1x is the same as x, and 3 plus 6 is 9, so that's one of the values for x. Now there's a totally different value for x. You got a plus 6, 1x, negative 3 plus 6 is 3. Okay, now here's how this works. 9 minus 6 is 3. If I put x is 9, so if I put 9 in, 9 minus 6 is 3, and the absolute value of 3 equals 3, so that checks out. Now I put 3 in for x. Now 3 minus 6 is negative 3, but the absolute value in negative 3 equals 3, so both these answers check out. Okay, next. I'll worry about what's in there later, but my absolute value equals 13. So I could be at 13, or I could be at negative 13. Okay, so the expression inside is 3x plus 2, and I need to find out the values for x. So 3 times x plus 2 could equal 13, or 3 times x plus 2 could equal negative 13. So 3x, that's 11. 5 by 3. Now with these problems here, if you get a decimal that goes on forever, just leave it in fraction form. Just leave it 11 over 3. Minus 2, so 3x is negative 13 minus 2 is negative 15, so 3 times x is negative 15. So x is going to equal negative 5. Now, to check my answer, I'm going to put 3, and then for x, I'm going to put 11 over 3, ABC button, and then plus 2. That equals 13. The absolute value of 13 is 13. Now, if I put negative 5, my other answer, 3 times negative 5 plus 2, it's negative 13, but the absolute value of negative 13 is 13. So both these answers check out. Okay, next problem. What's my absolute value equal to? It equals 13, so I could be at 13 or negative 13. Now what's the expression we have inside of the absolute value? 7x minus 1. So I plus 1, 7 times x equals 14. So then I divide by 7, x equals 2. Plus 1, 7x, negative 13 plus 1 is negative 12, and then divide by 7. Okay, so negative 12 divided by 7. Again, that's a decimal that goes on forever, so you need to just leave that in fraction form. Negative 12 sevenths. Okay, so now I check my answer. I put the 2 in for x, so 7 times 2 minus 1 is 13, and the absolute value of 13 is 13. That's a good answer. Now, negative 12 sevenths. So 7 and then negative 12 sevenths minus 1. I got negative 13, but the absolute value of negative 13 is 13. Okay, what's my absolute value equal to? It's equal to 9, so it could be 9 or negative 9 to have an absolute value of 9. So inside we got 5 plus negative 2x. I'm going to make that plus negative, because I'm going to have to end up boxing the x, and I want to know for sure that that's a negative 2. So I got this 5, I need to minus 5. So negative 2 times x equals 4. And then I divide by negative 2. X is negative 2. Minus 5. So negative 2 times x. Negative 9 minus 5 is negative 14. So x is 7. Okay, so we're going to put negative 2 in for x. So 5 minus 2, and then x is replaced with negative 2. That equals 9. The absolute value of 9 is 9. 5 minus 2 times 7, negative 9. The absolute value of negative 9 is 9. So all these are checking out good. Okay. What's the absolute value? Where are the two places on a number line that you can have an absolute value of 13? 13, negative 13. So 2x minus 3, 2x minus 3. So plus 3, 2 times x equals 16. You get 8. Negative 13 plus 3 is negative 10. That's negative 5. Okay, so 2 times 8 minus 3 is 13. The absolute value of 13 is 13. 2 times negative 5 minus 3 is negative 13, but that's still an absolute value of 13, so both those check. Okay, and that's really all I was to say on that today. Now you can go do 5, 6, 7, 8.